is love. I can't wait to talk about it.
Greetings, wonderful person. Welcome to the Wonder Irish Twins. In this episode, we are going to be exploring image, imagine, and imagination. I'm Cindy James, the self-titled Empress of Infinite Supply and Radiant Love of the Galactic Council of Women, All Genders Welcome.
And hi, I'm Michael, Sydney's little brother and sidekick. I am self-titled Miguel Angelo, the Lightbringer, and also part of the Galactic Council of Women, All Genders Welcome. And together, we are the Wonder Irish Twins. Getting better.
Get better. We might eventually get rid of that, but that's so much fun. It's so in line with what we're doing today. And our mission here at the Galactic Council is to yield to something greater within us, to bask in the light, joy, and relief of surrendering to that greater power, and then to radiate this relationship as lifelong siblings and friends and servers of the highest light.
And we do it to help others tune out the noise. It's a growing noise of opposition, doubt, and shame, and help others and help ourselves to see, hear, and really live what is important in life, what's worth jumping out of bed in the morning for.
And doing it, having some crazy fun while we do it.
Absolutely.
It's gotta be fun. I mean, it doesn't have to be fun. I think a lot of things aren't fun, but I think, as I've been saying and as we've been talking about, is the children of the world know that we can come here and have fun, like play with this what it is. I have had the opportunity, Mike, as you know, to be with my boyfriends, which I think that's such a ridiculous title for a 60-year-old man and a 56 or 57-year-old woman boyfriend. He's not a boy, he's not my friend, but I think man lover's inappropriate.
Yeah, partner. Yeah, partner's a good term. Yeah.
Although partner has legal connotations, certainly partner. Well, in any event, I have his granddaughter for the weekend at the shore and a 6-year-old, and the wonder and delight. And I asked her, like I ask everyone, what does she want to see better in the world? And she thought for a while. She said, no more trash. I thought that was amazing.
No more trash.
No more trash. And I said, and what
There's
do you...
trash in here, right? Trash
Yes.
out there, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And it was just with the way she speaks, the tender voice of a young one. And I said, and what do you want more for you in the world? And she said, more toys.
Yeah, play more, yeah.
It's like playing. So in preparation for this, I looked up, like I like to do, the definition of the word image, imagine, and imagination. And I think each three of those words have separate feelings, definitely for me, and connotations in the world. Yeah, connotations in the world. For me, whenever I think of the word image, I think of the biblical pronouncement to have no false images before me. And how in a lot of or many religious cultures, you can't even draw a picture of God or write the whole name of God. There has to be letters missing or an absent space. And I've always wondered about why that would be. And so what I'm coming to know, how I now define image in that biblical sense for me, is to not have any false idea of me being limited or lesser. What if an image that we make of God has to be limited? And it's not saying we can't draw a picture of God, but if that's your religious belief, I mean, fabulous, mazel tov, that's great. For me, I don't have that belief. I think for me, what it means is don't limit the image of God with a fixed notion, which is a big thing when you're in a body. Even biblically, it's said that we're made in the image of God and the likeness of God, whatever that means. So that means that we're all beautiful and infinite and powerful and all of that. And that I work with. I work with it as a female. I work with it in my body. I work with it in relationship to how I want to be perceived. And then I keep coming back to, like, since I believe that I'm one with the greater, this has to be glorious. And any representation of God that is limited, that limits or excludes or judgments or judges or isolates or condemns forever, has got to be a false image.
Wow. So you just talked about image, right? And you got us back to, like, in some traditions, there was the word, right? The word is a sound, but it's also a written word, and passed down. But then I want to talk a little about imagine and imagination. I'm sure we'll get into this more, So like image, the image and I know you've took the notes on the Latin on this, and you sent them to me, imago, but yeah, I see I mage, like I magic, right? So I am magic, I image, I imagination. And you think about it, imagination is creation, right? And I said this, and I know lots of people have, do we create the future with our imagination? Just look at what humans have done, right? You'll talk later about how if you intend it, things come. And so if I always think of James T. Kirk, Star Trek on a planet, and he opens up a flip phone. Boop. Scotty, beam me up on speakerphone, right? Yep, yeah, it's a speakerphone. Scotty, beam me up. It's a flip phone, right? We went past the flip phone era, but that's a communicator device, and then science fiction dreamed it up, and humans did it make it happen because they wrote it and we imagined it and then say, let's make that happen. But I believe we create, imagination is creation. And if you have the image and if you really feel it, I think we make it happen, and so you can do that with technology, but you can also do that with life and spirit and peace, so I think that's the power of harnessing that, and the world needs an image and imagination to get from where we are now to where you would wish it would be, if we could all have that same image, or at least an image towards something similar where it's what we all want.
That's so playfully crucial right now on the planet, playfully crucial for us to know our power to play a new way into being. And I think I'm feeling right now, Mike, as you were sharing, first of all, I think the Star Trek analogy is the most delightful analogy of that our imagination creates our reality of anything, like the tricorder or
right, yeah.
How would they waved over to see if they were sick? Now they can wave something over to see if what your temperature is or if your blood sugar is up. And it's just amazing. Also, like when Bones was talking to Jim about like their present day medicine, and Bones saying to Jim, they're barbarians, Jim, they're barbarians. What medicine was back in the day and what it could be. And we're moving to that. Not that we're barbarian. Well, I guess whatever you want to say it, there's nothing wrong with being a barbarian. I guess it could be fun. And but I'm feeling the evolution of those three words. If I understand and can live the truth of what a true image is, to be in the likeness of the greater, to act as the greater is in me and through me, and that I am one with that image, then I can imagine the verb. I've taken that down and I've put it with the letters of that word. I am, although it's really I am a God-inspired, never-ending, and then we can put in that the word imagine, and then there's a blank slate for we to create it. So I am a God-inspired, never-ending.
Perfect.
And right now, I'm a never-ending Empress of Infinite Supply and Radiant Love of the Galactic Council of Women, all genders welcome, until I don't want to be that anymore. And that's playfully crucial. This forum, like what you and I are doing, the Wonder Irish Twins, playfully crucial. And by the way, that term together just came in this moment. And I think it's a really good one to put some lightness around it, but also to know that what we so seek and what we long for is dependent on that. And I remember watching Star Trek with you and Steve when we were little. Mm-hmm. And what were those little round bally things that came?
They're tribbles. Trouble with Tribbles. That's
Trouble with Tribbles. Yes. Yeah. So stuck in my mind, and they would billow out everywhere. And then, do you remember the Roman god one where they went back?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. And with was it Ahura? No, it was I remember that one very much. So yeah, he wanted a wife. Yeah.
And I remember when he got so big and angry. And I had an experience with one of my children that I felt like that. Like I remember when I got very angry at one of my offspring, one of my teenagers, and I felt like I was very well involved in my healing path. And I was actually going to teach a workshop on fearing no evil, like that I did for many years. And this particular offspring of mine was late coming in and wasn't answering their phone. And I was going to be late to teach a class about transforming the lower self. So this one step ahead of the shoe shine thing, which we were just talking about right beforehand, is when we step into the position of saying, like, I want to help make a positive impact in the world, I think that we knowingly or unknowingly will have the events come up in our personal being or in our life to teach us, give us the present moment experience of how to move through something like that. And it was about the energy of negative pleasure. That was what I was going to be facilitating a workshop about with many others.
Right.
And negative pleasure, this term of art in the pathwork, if you look up pathwork.org, you can see a whole bunch of these guided lectures about transforming the lower self and so much more. And it was that human beings, what we do is, since being in a body is sensation, and another word for that is pleasure or sensation, we will get attached to either pleasure in the positive current that brings us more growth and happiness and serenity and prosperity and health and all that, or pleasure in the negative current. They might give us a quick fix, but it hampers us and it binds us. So with addiction or with rage or with judgment or whatever it is that we have. So I remember right before this, when I finally saw this offspring, I grabbed this person, I'm trying to be genderless, by the back of the neck and said, like, where the F were you? And in that moment, what I felt happening to me, I had the immediate remembrance of that Star Trek episode. Yeah, that I literally got huge and hurled myself separate from this child of mine in the rage of not getting what I wanted. And how what I really longed for was love and relationship and connection and the freedom of being a never-ending, God-inspired creation in relationship with someone that I love so much. And it was so stark, the feeling, the rush when I started to get so angry, which is the negative pleasure, like the how dare you smite the goddess of the mother. And then, oh my God, seeing hurled away from this child in time and space. So unaware of my environment. And I immediately apologized and apologized and apologized. I mean, still have apologized to this person. And yeah, so that to me, that moving into the power of our imagination, being a never-ending God-inspired powerhouse, and that Star Trek episode giving me the ability to heal, help me heal something that was very stuck in my life when I felt powerless.
Yeah, because it takes it takes practice to have imagination to become creation, right? So it takes practice. And we get out of practice, right? We get out of, you were talking about playing earlier, right? More toys or whatever, but playing playfully, you said critically, you always
playfully crucial.
Playfully crucial, right? Playing, but the imagination portion, when you talked about it, we get out of practice. We get into our ruts. What's that called in the Sanskrit, whatever it's, samskaras or whatever it is.
Yeah, our
we become the Wordle word 2 days ago was trope, and we become a trope. We become almost.
What is that word?
Trope is like something that represents, and you see it right away. Like if you see a chubby, smiling, half naked person cross-legged on the ground, you think of that's a Buddha, right? It's a
laughing Buddha,
a laughing Buddha. But there you go, right? That's a trope. It represents it. Or someone with a cape is a superhero. That's a trope, So, but we become that. We become this trope. We become this representation of who we don't want to be, because we get hardened and we stop playing. We're staying in the rut instead of getting out of the ruts or healing those ruts. And recently I've been working on meditation, and I've been working on imagination, because meditation, there's the opposite of, I guess there's the null, or just get into the nothing and just exist. But then there's also a powerful thing that I'm learning of putting the image in your mind and creating it, right? So, and you have to, you put yourself in a beautiful place, you can imagine it. And then when I first started doing this a few months ago, I couldn't create anything but darkness and splashes of light. I could sit there vividly daydream about my work or my anger at something or whatever, but I couldn't create this loving, wholesome space because I just didn't have the laps and the reps. And so you got to sit there and practice it. So I had to build it and practice it. And over time, things get more bright and more brilliant and become more alive. And then I try and pack in, in between, different exercises. One where, I just exist or Om. And then the other one is where I pack in positive things, images that I want, right? And who I am, like you talked, we're all part of we are. I am a God-inspired, yeah, well, those things, but also, what am I? What do I want to be? What do I want to create? And then I pack that in with images, right? And to me, I'm using nouns, I am love. And then that image and feeling of love comes to me, right? I am light, I am health and strength and life, I am one, I am joy, I am now, I am, and those things, but those things we need practice on. And as a world, we need practice on it to create those things.
Would you lead us in just whatever comes to you in this moment? I'll lead with some breath and you give some space between those so that you and I together and our support team that is with us as we record this, and also everyone that receives this in time and space, can have your energy help guide them, since we all are one. I felt that for today, you leading something. I know I didn't tell you that, but I'll cultivate the breath to start with. And then If you just go through if you were meditating, well, we are actually what we were going to do.
Yeah.
Imagine meditating what you would want for yourself right now. That's what I find when I'm in guidance with anyone else. It's like whatever I need in the moment is probably related to what they need, because our spider sense tingles when we've taken on the role of being in service. So I'll begin by saying what I always begin to everyone is like, close your eyes if you feel so called. Let your gaze rest internally into the space between your eyebrows, also called your Ajna chakra. Let your jaw relax, let your shoulders be loose, but your chest open. So you're not contracted and you're not even squeezing in the back. You just have a full chest. Let your spine be elongated. Let your chin be parallel and not jutted forward, tucked back. Relax your buttocks, relax your feet. If you feel so called, relax your hands, open like antennae, or you can even go into mudras, which is finger placement if you feel so called. And let your breath come in 360 degrees, which means using your imagination, knowing that life force energy rides on oxygen, but also exists in the oxygen, and it meets every part of our body, whether it's coming in through our nose, which is where that breath would come in with your tongue loosely behind your teeth on the top of your palate. Letting your belly expand. So you breathe 3-part breathing. Your lower belly expands, then your mid chest, and then your upper chest. And then when you exhale, you just imagine and feel that energy going in the tripart from the top, middle, and lower until your belly button squeezes back to your spine as you exhale, all with natural effort, not force. This is a moment in time, a sacred moment in time created just for us to be able to clear away any obstacles to creating the life that we long for. And then in this space, let your consciousness be impressed with these truths as Michael speaks them from the authority of his eternal soul and the longing of his human personality.
Okay, so I'm feeling in this space the love and warmth of being part of something, being not just part of something, but I am everything. I am this space. I am the consciousness of the universe, and we're together, and I am safe, and I have hope. And in this space, I know these truths, that I am love. I am light. I am health, strength, and life. I am one. I am joy. I am now. And I am. I am part. I am the whole. And I deserve all that I intend. Without longing, without pain, just a relaxed, I am that. I am that. I am. Okay.
And then gently bring yourself back, taking deep conscious breaths again, feeling the power of being connected, knowing that we're not alone, that we are one. And Mike, I've been big about, in the last few years, the upgrading of our preamble and our Declaration of Independence and our Constitution, the U.S. one, about like bringing it into the present day expanded power. And I heard what you were saying. I heard we hold these truths
Sure.
to be self-evident, that all humans are created infinite.
Right. Perfect. We are. You would just forget it. And
It's limited.
That's what this lab is about, right? To remember as much as we can, connect as much as we can. So,
Yes. And that equality is fabulous. Equity, inclusion, diversion, equality. And the truth of it is that we are all creators and we are all infinite. And in that imagination, like as you led me through, I just want to say thank you, because I needed that personally.
Good.
And I needed that. I've been in my capacity as a healer, a teacher, a speaker, a planetary force for truth, and all the crazy, wonderful things. The last couple of weeks for me, and continuing for the next few days, will be one of great giving. It is giving, but just transmitting in service. And I haven't had the opportunity, or haven't created the opportunity to receive as much as I think I need to be able to sustain this level of expanded energy.
Yeah.
And so thank you for that, because you, Mike, this is like, look at the Wonder Irish twins. Like, you are one of the people on the planet that I feel so immediately safe and secure around. Safe has to do with in my body, and secure has to do with my soul and my lovability and ability to love. And I want to say something about imagination too. So imagination, there's a lot of great people. We talk about many of our inspiring colleagues, and Joe Dispenza is one of them, and his work is crazy great. Just go on YouTube and just queue up anything he has to say, and it's amazing. The science proving the spirituality, which is really ridiculous because it needs no proof. It is self-evident. But he says, like, it from the level of matter to change matter takes a longer period of time. And from the level of imagination and level of energy, when we access the energy that made everything, we can transform much quicker. And in his big forums, like 1,000+ people, there are just these recorded, documented, empirically researched and proven studies of spontaneous, miraculous remissions and changes in body form, like even tumors disappearing from 1 hour to the next in these group meditative focused forums, which I think is extraordinary. And in the imagination, though, Joe, I mean, I feel like he's my friend. I mean,
Sure.
He might not know me yet, but he will, and he loves me. He just does. I can tell. And so Joe and I, like, when we talk about that imagining, he also says, and then to give it some time and space. And Abraham Hicks says that. Esther Hicks channels the group of guides called Abraham. If you want $5 million in your bank account today, you might need to imagine and give that some space, Whereas you can imagine what it feels like to have $5 million in your bank account today, which really has nothing to do with $5 million. It has to do with the experience we give ourselves around that. And then that is what that imagination, when we link the cells of our body with our mind and we give ourselves the space to live as if it is real. And Neville Goddard is another one with the power of imagination. He was working with some man when he was younger and growing, and he wanted to create going somewhere on a trip, and his teacher wouldn't let him ever speak as if he were in the present location. He would only let him talk as if he were already in
Belize, right? Yeah.
Belize.
Mm-hmm.
Like I am in Belize, like that. And what I come to know from Wayne Dyer, a friend of mine on the other side, he does know me now and all that then makes us, or gives us the ability to inhabit that same creative force that made the heavens and the earth and imagine. Mm-hmm. And so what I wanted to bring up, which I think is so amazing, is that at our last Wonder Irish Twins episode, which I think was January at your house, is that right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So it was a while ago. I became a little bit busy in the great experience of falling in love with my soulmate and building a new life and having the Galactic Council take off in the ways that we have been taking the necessary, beautiful, joyful steps for, and seeing it now blossom as the worldwide force for transformation and for the dissolution of the delusion of lack and all the pain it causes. So, but at the end of that episode, remember I said to you, Amy and I were talking about how we would like to have a partner like you in our life. Like you are this strong man. You've gone through extraordinary experiences in the military. You're now in the private sector and using those skills, and you are devoted to your spiritual awakening, even though you think you're a charlatan sometimes.
Yep.
What it is and all of that. And, and just how you were working with taking care of Tanya to get back when she was visiting your daughter, your wife, when you're visiting your daughter. So this extraordinary man that I'm in relationship with, it's like poof, similar to you, from the military background and in the service of humanitarian and cultivating something greater and knowing the value of the feminine divine, and maybe never calling it that, but really knowing that. Like that, as I was preparing for today, I remembered how I felt in Puerto Rico at your house when we said that. And I remember dropping into a deep state and imagining something like that and now having it.
That's great.
Yeah. It took about a month and a half. And also all the practices that I've been doing, and also him too. And also because when we cultivate what we really long for, we serve the world, we up the amperage of what's possible. There's just more energy in existence. What I know now is I remember sometimes driving to what was called, it was called Freshfields before it became Whole Foods like 20 years ago. It's when I stopped going to Sunday Mass with my 4 offspring because I got really so little out of it for so many reasons. I was either fighting the doctrine of the church at the time, sorry, Catholicism, I've made a lot of peace with all that, or one of the kids or more was so horrible that it was all trying to control them, or one or more of them were so adorable that that's all I did anyway. So I decided that I wanted to shop for healthy organic food. It was much more spiritual for me. And I remember at times driving there, and I would have at that time and other times in my life, just these spontaneous feelings of joy and that all is well and that I could do whatever I wanted and life is going to go well. And I believe now that those situations are also because there were people in the world praying or meditating or releasing their bindings, and especially those that knew me. And in that moment, what was available to me was, oh, Cindy, you're not alone. So what we're doing right now in the eternal now, which is always where I prepare this space, when you're talking about the dark in the space, I think you're just dropping into the time before space, is that we are radiating out of the boundaries of time and space to everyone and everything this deep, playfully crucial message of let go of the shame monster and the judgment monster. Be willing to put yourself on YouTube and more for whoever watches it or doesn't. Call yourself the Wonder Irish Twins and the Lightbringer and Miguel Angelo and try to make up a thing that we can't really do yet. Poof. And have a conversation that is not 22 minutes as Mike wanted, but I'm ready to bring this to
44 minutes. No, 33 minutes. Okay.
33 minutes. Mike started yesterday with me. We're going to do 22 minutes. And that meant 33 minutes. And then he was like, well, how about 11 minutes? Well, 7 is a good number. I'm like, how about 4 minutes? Which is so great. And it is just what it is. And you are a great wonderful guide with discipline and discipleship. And you are also very flexible and spontaneous.
I love you. I love what you're doing. You're an image. You're I am a God inspired. You are creating something here with this energy that and you're connecting, right? If you talked about the Joe Dispenzas and the Master Stephen Coes and the Abraham Hickses and the Neville Goddard, who and the Buddha and Baba and Jesus and and all, you name it, just connecting at this time for humanity so that we can push, we can pull, we can become that what we imagine. We all imagine, right? We're all imagining. We're not imagining what we're seeing now. Although there's people imagining it because they're stuck like the monster, like that being from Star Trek, right? That we talked about. They're stuck. And what this is trying to help for the entire humanity to bring us to a different space. I have an image that was so powerful, and I know I said I wouldn't make it too long. I wanted 22 minutes, but I was flying back yesterday morning at 2 a.m. because I was coming back to Puerto Rico from Texas, and ended up getting on a delay for maintenance and then crew and you name it. So finally, it was one of those forever delays. But as we finally, through a lot of human beings, a lot of hard work, a lot of people upset, but I mean, the pilots extended their day and the crew, you name it, and they're flying back and it's dark in the plane, and I have the window up because I like the window up, and I look out as we're approaching into Puerto Rico, and there's the Southern Cross, right? And the Southern Cross. And so when I say Southern Cross, what's the first image you hear or see?
I see the crucifixion.
Yeah. I hear Crosby, Stills, and Nash. When you see the Southern Cross for the first time, you understand now why you came this way. Because the truth you might be running from is so small, but it's as big as a promise, the promise of a coming day. And to me, that was coming home, getting to, coming from this uncomfortable experience where it was waiting and delay and a lot of anxiety and a lot of people, all of us trying to get home. And there's this, and we're just caught in that anxiety, but there's these heroes getting us there, the pilots, and even though we vilify the airline, they're not there to hurt us or harm us. They're trying to get us there safely. And there's this Southern Cross. And if you've never seen it, when you see it for the first time, like this song, it's wow.
What is it? Like, I don't know what it is.
It looks it's four main stars that look like a cross, and you can see it plain as day. I remember when I saw it for the first time, like the song says, I was on a ship like Crosby, Stills, Nash, the author of the song was. I was on an aircraft carrier. When you hit the southern hemisphere, you can start seeing, or when you hit the northern latitudes around 25-degree north latitude, you start seeing the Southern Cross. But to me, it meant home, security, love, hope, renewal. We all need that. We all need this image that we can see. Despite what's going on around us, that's where you're going, the Galactic Council's going. That's where we need this image of love and peace. And to me, that was that image. When I knew we were talking about an image, that image was stuck in my brain. And it's as big as the promise. And the song's singing in my head. I can't get it out of my head anymore. So I'm sailing for tomorrow. My dreams are done, and my love is. So it's about renewal and hope. Anyway, so that's my image that I'm done with. And I think I have one more image, right, that I have to show. Any thoughts on that?
Do Kryptonite and Superpower. Mike, I want to say thank you for sharing that. I really don't have any recollection of ever knowing that. I used to have a mind that I could feel sure that I knew something or not know it. I don't have that kind of mind anymore, but I don't have any recollection of it. And it touches me deeply to have you share that. And I will listen to the song afterwards. And I encourage everyone to listen to the song with the renewed energy of this moment around it.
And that song's great. I actually went and said, what do they mean by all the, I can't hear the lyrics very well. So, just some, so I read the lyrics and I said, oh, there's ups and downs in the song. There's hope, there's no hope. But then this one person, I read a comment, like on Song's Meaning, and it's from Stella's Starfish, and it says, I think this song is about finding your way. This person, thank you, Stella Starfish. I think this song's about finding your way. even though you messed up a lot and lost people on the way, at some point you might get this clear moment when you get a grip on everything. You realize that there were good and bad things, and you start to move past all the bad things you might have done yourself and look ahead. It might be hard, but even if you don't have anything, you always have the music, the hope, the stars, the image, the imagination to get where you want to go. This is Stella Starfish. I read that. I said that's as powerful as the lyrics to me. So yeah.
Oh, were you right? Stella Starfish. I just make that female, but I have no idea. It doesn't really matter. Can you comment to Stella Starfish?
I mean, this is 2011, October 2011. So I mean, on online. But it was just like I said that is so beautiful because there's some negative things in the song, but I said, and then it's like, sometimes you need to go someplace new, like where the Southern Cross is, to get a new perspective. And that's what that's part of, they may not meant that, but I love the beauty of that. You have to go someplace new, get out of your comfort zone, or go travel somewhere. And now you can see all that other stuff that you were holding on to in a different perspective. Okay.
Beautiful.
Sorry.
I feel, thank you.
So my superpower.
Wait, no. Okay, you're good.
It's bringing light, and hope, even though, like I say, sometimes I'm not sure if I have it inside me, but I try to. And my kryptonite this past week was not holding in the image of who I know I am and what I want with me, right? And you get the images of the world will come in and dilute what you know to be true. And so the kryptonite for all of us is that we allow those images, for me, they allow those images in.
False images.
And once they're in, they're pretty strong. And so whether it's image of body or self or whatever it is, health, where the mind is, there goes energy, there goes the body, right? So.
Beautiful, Mike. That's what Joe Dispenza, I think he says in this way. I mean, so many people say it in different ways, but where attention goes, energy flows. And Abraham Hicks says, if you get yourself something like 60 to 78 seconds on that track, you might as well go to sleep or go do something else, because you got it. That now becomes a thought form. And in the pranic healing lineage, that thought form attracts other thought forms that reinforce it of the similar lower vibrational nature. And then there's this woman, before I go into mine, there's this woman named Teal Swan, and she's a spiritual luminary, and her stuff is really amazing and different and thought-provoking and shifting. And she said that those negative images or thoughts that we think that then can attract others, they serve a purpose. And so my kryptonite over the last few weeks has been I don't know how to say it. I would say, I don't know how to take care of my body with reference to food. I've had so many different ways, and that's been a very big lifetime path for me and so many human beings. And I've been eating more and eating of a quality that I would judge as lesser. Again, I'm already in the judgment monster. And so if I judge it as lesser, it's going to have a lesser effect on me, or a bigger effect, or whatever it is. And she said that thought form serves a function. And when I drop down deeper under to see why, how is that supposedly protecting me to do that, is because, then I'll have a reason if this great life that I'm building for myself goes away, or there's rejection or dissolution or whatever it might be. And then I could blame it on that, and I'll still have food to comfort me. And that is something that is going to take time for me to heal in. But that's my kryptonite right now, is not believing that my evolving relationship with how to take care of my form through the vehicle of thought and food is somehow not going to just keep getting better and better like everything else in my life.
Yeah.
And my superpower is that there is absolutely no way that I could, or even feel that I have a choice, not that I feel forced at all, not continue on this path of beads on one string. Mike, when you were talking about all those different people that I link up and I talk about, that is one of the missions of the Avatar of the Age, as I know as Mayor Baba, to bring everything together, to revitalize everything like beads on one string. You don't have to destroy everything. I mean, unless you want to or whatever, but to revitalize it for the truth of it and to bring it together like beads on one string. I feel like I'm a human string bringing the beads together. And that's what the Galactic Council is. I see it as the matrix, as we all come together, the beads on one string. And as it continues to grow, as the people who are willing and are so brave to take a stand on the truth within and be silly, have a superpower name or not, or just join for the sake of knowing deep within their heart that they've decided to lend a little bit of their squiggles, what people call money, to this venture of reimagining playfully, joyfully a new world, especially a world where there is going to be not just enough, but more than enough, infinite supply, and that I can, because I do have a huge capacity to love, radiate that, and to radiate that to this aspect of myself that I am bringing to light for me, for those in my ancestral lineage, and for everyone and everything. I am driven with the natural force of a quasar, of a lightning bolt that never ends, of a
the stars of the Southern Cross. That's you, Cindy. Yeah, to me too. Yeah, I'm going to show you a quick image. And okay. I think it just is perfect for what we're talking about right there. What is that right there?
Oh my God. That's me and you in Stone Harbor. You were probably 2. I was probably 3. We're looking at our grandparents, Dad's parents, Grandma and Dad Dykoff. And I'm brushing sand. You're looking at the grandparents. I'm looking towards the sea. I'm brushing sand off my hand. And I want to tell you what I remember energetically about that experience was how happy everybody was. Like,
sure.
I don't always remember going to their house, our paternal grandfather's house. Oh, here comes little girl in. And always feeling happy about being there.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, hello, gorgeous. We're just completing. Isn't it so wonderful? I was hoping she would come in, even though
I love it. I love it.
But at the beach, everything was good. And there was
all imagination, it's all creation. Yep.
And relaxation. But I also saw in that, like, my compulsion to keep things clean. I saw that in brushing sand off my hand. And I thought, oh, Cindy, both, I immediately took it to a negative, but with my light inside, I just took it to a positive. That is part of my job, to clean up the world, like the trash, like this little one that just came in to say, is to clean it up, but in a way that purity doesn't mean there isn't mess. Purity means we just know that we're infinite and that we can create.
Yeah. And if you're watching this, see those 2 kids? There we are. Here we are, right here. Still playing, still bringing the message that, siblings or whoever your family is, you can still play and create and have lifelong relationships that are meaningful, especially if you're willing to get out of some ruts and open up and share experiences, even though there's some tough things. So I'm going to quote Stella Starfish and let you close again, because I love whoever that person is.
You gotta find Stella.
Yeah, I mean, the Southern Cross is a constellation.
Wait. Oh, sorry. They have got to be on the Galactic Council.
Yeah, So Southern Cross is a constellation you only see in the Southern Hemisphere. So that might mean that sometimes you don't see the truth right away from where you are standing right now. In order to get that moment of clarity, you have to go somewhere else. Maybe get some space between you and your problem, so you might see the truth, and then you realize why everything was worth it. So, when you look back at what you're talking about, Cindy, your journeys and the times we're not in control of ourselves, and we let negative energy or let the opposition control us, and the world has a lot of that going on right now. Take a little space, join the Galactic Council, do some breathing, and go to a new place, open up a new, try and imagine a space, even though your imagination is calcified, and it's all going to be worth it. So I love you. Thanks for having me on again.
Thank you. I love having you on the Wonder Irish Twins, because it would be just the Wonder Irish me.
Yeah.
The song go like, the Southern Cross keeps on shining. Is that how the music goes?
There's some, and think about how many times I have fallen. Spirits are using me. Largest voices calling. Am I singing? Whatever heaven brought you and me cannot be forgotten. I have been around the world. So, and that's what I was saying. I'm flying around the world, and I've been around the world, and I'm looking for that woman, girl, who knows love can endure.
Who knows love
will, and it will. So love will endure. That's the message.
Love will endure. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for being my little big brother. Te quiero mucho. Te quiero to everyone and everything. Let the power of image, imagine, and imagination fuel you. Give yourself some rest, whether you call it meditation, sleep, chanting, taking a walk, whatever it is. And let's all be inspired from the level of our soul so that we can be sustainably happy, healthy, prosperous more. And so can everyone and everything, including these precious little kids, including this precious, precious little girl that wants to see less trash in the world and there be more toys to play with.
More toys, more play.
More play. All right. Love and blessings. Mwah.
There is love. I can't wait to talk about it when things get rough. I like to walk with you.